Clarify what ERP actually does and what CRM actually does.
CRM is more about managing the relationship with your current customer. ERP definitely is a bit different. ERP is more about
Main concern is, and what people are actually talking about is, how can you define the both of the systems in this business?
there is no one answer or right answer for this. I think it all depends upon the
A lot of companies try to use one tool for everything, and that's where things get so messy, and then they blame the systems.
All I can say is that there is no one perfect solution for you. Eventually, there's a human behind who is running the show, and that is more important than I would say anything else.
So, hi Nitesh. So, today's talk about the difference between ERP and CRM. Many people are confused. They sometimes bind them together and they're like, what is it? And they're often confused regarding these two terms. So, let's break down for them and clarify what ERP actually does and what CRM actually does. Find the terms easily.
Absolutely looking forward.
If we talk about CRM, so CRM basically stands for Customer Relationship Management, which basically helps the business to understand their clients, to have a conversation with their clients, and maybe try to do any follow-up, prospective leads and everything. And this whole term is a definition in its own. Customer Relationship Management. This is where a business manages its relation with their clients or any prospective leads. And when we come to ERP, well, it's a total different opposite of what CRM does, and I would love it if you could also break down ERP for us today.
Absolutely. I think that you have pointed out quite well. CRM is more about managing the relationship with your current customers or let's say prospects as well. And there's a series of steps that you do where it comes to, qualifying those leads, making sure that your suspect or prospect comes to that journey with you while discussing about your product and services. ERP definitely is a bit different. ERP is more about back office operations. It's more about once you onboard that customer, like you have to eventually ship your product and services.
Basically the BTS of any business, right?
Absolutely. And then obviously you will be able to build that customer and they'll be able to pay you, right? And that includes your finance, procurement, sales, supply chain, stock control. If you're into manufacturing, you have to produce that item as well. Making sure that you have the raw materials available, you have the vendor coordination, and eventually make sure that you're able to ship that product at the right time for your customer. So yes, CRM is more front end, more conversation focused with your existing customers or prospects, while ERP is more back end. It's once the client's onboarded, what you need to do in the business eventually, and that is what ERP does.
Okay, Nitesh, but my main concern is, and what people are actually talking about is, how can you define the both of the systems in this business? Is it necessary to implement both of them when you are implementing one? Like, for example, I'm implementing ERP, so I have to implement CRM as well. Or I can just go and implement only one of the systems, which is like, if my problem is related to the back-end operations of my business, I'll go for the ERP. Or if my business is mostly related with the customers' relations, so I'll implement CRM. So what are your thoughts on that?
There is no one answer or right answer for this. I think it all depends upon the use case, what exactly the company is doing and what they eventually want to achieve from their project. There have been many instances where just an ERP in the initial phase would be the perfect fit for that company.
Okay.
They already are sort of managing their relationship with their current customers through some Excel sheets or CRM, let's say. But their back office is as a struggle, and this is where they need to implement a solution like an ERP. So from your finance to ARAP, production inventory, budgeting, project management can be taken care by that ERP. So that is one thing. We also emphasize heavily around the understanding the business processes in detail, whether the CRM for that company could be a must-have or nice to have. Then obviously you have to explain that in terms of a must-have would be that when they already have a sales process defined, they already have a team dedicatedly purely for the sales, where they do a lot of outreach to the market.
Like the telecom industry.
Absolutely. Through calls, emails, different outreach, and they have some inbound leads coming in, that drives the traffic or sort of leads inflow to the company. On those cases, we recommend you go for the ERP and CRM both together. This could be, maybe we can start off with ERP in phase 1, CRM can be done in phase 2, or perhaps we can combine both ERP and CRM in phase 1 itself. Again, it depends upon the priority of the business. We also have to understand the volume, the learning curve for that company. Like, are they really ready to adopt these two technologies or solutions in the one go, or they want to take a step back and go a bit easy in terms of
the level of comfort they have while doing their tasks in their office.
Certainly.
A lot of companies try to use one tool for everything. And that's where things get so messy. And then they blame the systems, unfortunately. Would you like to elaborate on this as well, please?
All I can say is that there is no one perfect solution for you. ERP, with everything that it's got, it still has got its own limitation in terms of it cannot do a CRM job for you. And same goes for CRM as well. It just cannot work like an ERP for you. And this is why these two technologies work hand in hand, irrespective of whether they work or not. It eventually you have to understand whether it's a use case for you or not as a business. I think it also comes down to the people driving these projects. You also have to understand that the partner or the company that you're trying to get in touch with, who eventually will do the project for you, do they really have the capabilities for within these two solutions? Or they can only do ERP, or let's just say, yes, if they only can do ERP, they will emphasize heavily on just focus on ERP, and then CRM part is something, because it's not their core area, they probably will skip that part as part of the conversations, or let's say the pre-sales discussions. Same goes for CRM as well. If you are speaking with a partner who can only do CRM, their main focus or priority would be on the CRM budget, not ERP. But then if you have a partner who can do both, I think that is just good for you. That works perfectly, because in the end all these processes are connected. Back office and front end eventually makes one company, right? And eventually they go hand in hand, and they have to make sure that you are at least ticking all the boxes when it comes to must have. Nice to have can always be parked to phase 2 or phase 3.
That's the best part at Dynamics Square as well, that we implement both ERP and CRM, and we do give them the consultation when they come to us for any kind of consultation or any kind of query. You provide queries, you provide the solutions according to the business needs, rather than just selling one system even if they don't need it.
Absolutely.
So that's a brilliant point which we can note as a Microsoft partner everybody should do, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And eventually you don't need to sell stuff, you eventually have to solve the problem for that customer, and even if that would mean through ERP or CRM.
Nitesh, one more concern is that many people they get paranoid when they hear the word implementation. I want you to explain what is an implementation first on the very first place, and why are people so scared? They think that implementation is too complex, or is it too easy? Adaptation time and everything, how much time does that take after post implementation? So what are your thoughts, and would you like to clarify some points on this topic as well?
Absolutely. In terms of the ERP implementation, it can be both easy and complex.
Okay.
It totally depends upon the scope of work, how ready you are as a company to adopt that technology, and what are the skills that your partner has got. Eventually it all comes down to the people driving these technology projects, irrespective of the technology per se eventually going to implement, or the people who are actually going to use that application once that is implemented. So that is very important. And it also about when I say scope of work, I'm talking about the technology, which technology you're trying to implement. If it is a standard Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, it can easily be implemented in few months.
So how do you figure out if the company is ready to adapt it or not?
We emphasize heavily on understanding their core challenges in and out. It's in the initial phase, the discovery phase, where we spend a lot of time. And based on that, we understand, whether ERP would be an overkill for them or it's something they can easily adopt. We also have to understand their preparation as well internally, whether they have the resources internally to adopt and make sure that we have not of that steep learning curve. I think eventually it all comes down to the people and the clarity, whether they have the clarity to enable the change for that company. And I think that is the core, irrespective of in this age of AI and in ChatGPT or Copilot that we are living in.
Yes.
Eventually there's a human behind who is running the show, and that is more important than I would say anything else.
I think the partners are also highly responsible on how much comfortable you make your client when it comes to the implementation, how much comfort you give them, right?
Absolutely.